Hello everyone. Let me make sure I'm okay. I'm in screen. Making sure I was in the screen. But good morning, Boolings. That is the name we decided on, so we're running with it. Hopefully you all had a good weekend. I know I did because some people have a long weekend here in the US. I forget what holiday it was, but it was some holiday. But yeah, I was able to go and do some things. But now we're here. And hopefully we can figure out who the Yandere is, because honestly I'm a little confused. I say a little, but I'm probably a lot confused. I'm just like, I thought it would be. Oops, I didn't mean to press this. My bad. I thought it would be the mermaid, but sometimes it seems like it's us. So I'm like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess we'll see. Da, 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 da. But if you do not temper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may very well be your last. Right. So where we left off was it was like a time skip sort of we've been meeting her at the shore and like getting to know each other, yada yada yada. But we haven't gone really far past that, so you care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want only to show the mermaid how much that you value her, and you hope within time that she will come to value you too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend whom she lost so suddenly. And that makes me wonder if her friend is dead or just stopped coming. So, that is your plan at least. Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Ooh. Your nightly conversations, when you greet her, come easily enough. The words tumble from your mouth like thread. I can't do that. I'm like really bad with words, so I'm like, I could never. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeath your diadem of flowers to the mermaid, and she looks at you, then posits a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to think. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on the shore for many, many nights hence. But you have seen nothing of mine. Oh, can I go under the sea? It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, but while you know so little of mine. So, would you care to come with me beneath the ocean's waves? There is much that I wish to show you, sights that cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to the communication of experience such as this. It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface so that she might show you her home. I won't die, will I? You're not gonna be like a yeet. You're flattered initially, that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal. But after this flutter of flattery, there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid, wow, that came out weird. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You are a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs, and you were not made to live under the sea. You frown and, mistrustfully, you look at the ocean. It is late at night, as it always is when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. Ooh, the dark water. The waves moan as they break across against the rocks. Against the rocks was just out of the shore like a mighty dragon's bones. I have to break it to whoever wrote the script for this visual novel because they're very descriptive. And some things I wouldn't really think about when I'm like reading this. I'm like, huh. Then again, I am a simple mind. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea spray arcs through the air, caught in the moonlight. It shimmers, sharp as knives. Hesitantly, you take a step back. You're a little afraid of the ocean. Of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and so all-consuming, it reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not know. You don't even know how to swim. Okay, look here, game. We talked about this last time. I can doggy paddle, look here. You're fearful for your own safety. Should you consent to dive beneath the undulating menace of the water, but do not look so frightened, little one. I will be with you, and I will not let you go. You have my word. Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She is still perched upon her rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Well, she does not have a lap, not really. You are still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate, to become the food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. That is why, despite all your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You're interested too in what lies beneath the ocean's surface, out of sight. Oh, I knew you would agree. Thank you very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Now, would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. Ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me. I promise. I wonder where this is going. The mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to cut through the moonlight, just like a blade. The moon's celestial rays play against the mermaid's upturned palm so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair, too, is glowing, backlit by Celine's glow, so that she almost looks like an angel. Her beauty is such that, for a few moments, you cannot do anything, neither step towards her nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted into the sand, like some shore-growing tree. You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does occur to you. You ought not to look a gift horse in the mouth. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm gonna look it up real quick. You ought not to look a gift in I'm like speed typing it on my phone. Is an idiom that means to be thankful for a gift and not criticize it even if you don't like it very much. Oh. I've just never heard of that before. Okay. Simple enough, simple enough. Or ignore the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arm shaking like the skinny bow of an ancient tree, and find the mermaid's hand with your own. The mermaid's fingers curl about your own, her fingers, only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Oh no. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think, if she willed it, you would be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now, let us be on our way. There is much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you. The mermaid turns towards the ocean, as do you. A brief moment passes, one during which you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaids as the wind buffets your hair and your skirts. Ah, it's a jaboo. It's a jaboo. Jaboo. I'll be the jaboo today. I actually opened my curtains today because, like, normally I have a lamp. I don't remember if it's shown on my hand cams before, but I have a lamp, right? But it's still really dark in here, so I lifted part of my curtains so sunlight comes in, and I'm like, oh, it's bright. Wee! Hopefully Jabu is having a good week so far. Yesterday, Way was off, so we went to go do some things. Working from home? Oh, let's go. I want a job that lets me work from home. I should say a job that pays me a lot. But it's hard to find jobs that let you work from home like 100%. So if it was part of the time, that would be nice too. Maya's on the job search again. Cause gotta pay bills. You inhale deeply. The smell of the salt is heavy in the back of your nostrils. So much so, you can choke on it. It is not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic almost. You have a vague feeling as you stand on the receipt between your world and that of your aquatic companions, that you might never again be able to smell the salt in the air like this. We gon' die! This is just a silly superstition? You're being foolish. The mermaid will return you back to the surface in due course. Will she not? What if it was she brought her previous friend underwater and she never came back? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth, meaning to ask the mermaid about this fact, but you're not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined about yours. She dives forwards, her body slicing the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. Well, underwater! The water rushes forward to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. So how are we gonna breathe here? The A mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. But look, again, I can't water. I'm also a ghost. How can I water? You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water would be this cold. No, it is not just cold, it is freezing. Ugh. Cold water, no. It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however. You cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it is your own. Your hair is unspooling behind you like a thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro, as though being soothed in your mother's arms. It is a curious feeling, but it's not wholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here, beneath the ocean's depths, you might find it relaxing. It is dark under the surface of the water, yes, but you have not ventured so very far, not yet at least. But the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depth. If I read that super fast, hold on. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales are all glisten, as they arc through the waves like rainbows. Do not look like life forms. They appear instead, to your fairy tale adulated mind, to be ancient relics, brought to life through some strange, arcanic sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word is not significant enough. They are beautiful. I was gonna make more tea, but I was like, I'm just gonna drink my water today. I had tea this morning, but not now. You did not know, as you stood upon the shore, how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know, either, how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. You have never seen fish like these before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories, of dissecting a fish once in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. Aw, poor fishy. But that feels like a very long time ago now. You would rather think of your present than dwell upon the past. When the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. Well, once you were close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. I don't like this. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. You have descended, you realize, and I have skipped that real fast. With a ripple of anxiety, too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh, as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. Oh, we gon' die. Good night. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering, despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stubbering up your nostrils. Well, that doesn't feel nice. There is so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underneath the water, but you are not so very fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You have been under the water for too long, and it is too cold. And it is so dark now. In any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. And it's time to return to the surface now, but how are you to communicate this to the mermaid? You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She is staring instead fixatedly at something beyond your comprehension, something far away, perhaps in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal to her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, and I did that really fast again. I should not put my fingers on the space bar. I should not. However, to your attempts to escape her grip does not slacken as you had hoped from about your wrist. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her, at long last, to turn. Haha, we won't die, let's go. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one, what is it?" If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish, and you cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught save filling your pretty little mouth with water. The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions. Mere comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. I mean, she could just point upwards, be like, up. Let me out. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says, "I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head empathetically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent, but yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard, of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. She's trying to drown us? Uh-oh. JK, remember when I said we're gonna be living? No, we're gonna be dead. Super dead. I am incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner. Now, what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the mermaid answers, can she read minds? Now this was a calculated act upon my part. Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough. Then you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse floating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take very good care of it, I promise. Ah, help. In death, you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is exactly that you want, but you think she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. You're like to try and correct her. You do not want to die, but of course you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. Well, at least it saves me that for transcribing your dying, please. I love the narration. The narration screen. I don't think it would be particularly interesting. If you want to know why I'm doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you. Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting, she nursed within her cold fish's heart the desire to bring about your watery murder? Well, you might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean's surface with her. I'm only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much like her. Well, much alike. You do not act very alike either. We are both humans who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. Oh, hi Art, hi. Good luck with the glasses, let's go. Hopefully you have a good day as well. Apparently we're dying. It was all calculated on her part. Dun dun dun. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short and you're very susceptible to so very many diseases is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own, I am far sturdier. I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I were as fragile as you, I would not be able to exist in this world. I would be far too afraid. I would see my own death lurking behind every corner. Well, we don't constantly think of death. Well, at least I don't. I mean, I'm already a ghost. What else am I gonna do? Just as you can see your own death looming before you, it is not so very far away now. You can feel it coming closer and closer, and closing its cold, icy fingers around your throat. You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are. She respects your tenacity so very much she wishes to extinguish it? Yeah, I don't understand. That does not make very much sense. Indeed. Perhaps my words are confusing you, but it makes perfect sense, to me at least. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. I don't think that's very similar, but okay. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. I could not help but wonder how it came about, but there were so many possibilities, I could not imagine all of them. Would you rather be bald or bearded? Bald, because I can just put a wig on. I feel like having a beard would be annoying. I have to shave it all the time. Hell no. I'd rather be bald. I can put a beard on. I can put a wig on and be like, wee! Imagine all the wigs I could have. Ah. This thought terrified me. And still does. That is why I am going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There we can be together forever. Nothing will be able to tear us apart then. I'll brush your hair, and I'll dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It'll be lovely, much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might be able to ink out above the water. And Miss Cetadile, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by disease. You'll be quite safe, I promise. Yeah, safe. Safely dead. Quite safe, yes, and quite dead, too, surely. Yeah, exactly. Just dead. Like, yeah, safe. My bald. Exactly. I'd rather be bald. I can just wear wigs. I think I talked about this with Way before. And he's just like, I can grow out my hair and make a wig for you. And I was like, I mean, if you want. Well, yes, that is the only unfortunate aspect of my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune. The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. But perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this. It is a necessary sacrifice, though, if we are to be happy. I am doing this, for both our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please try to understand. I really have been lonely. You would be more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if her loneliness was not ushering in your inevitable demise. Yeah, if I wasn't just this dying, like, oh, okay. But you're too preoccupied with your dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. You feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You've been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. 3 minutes? How long can you hold your breath underwater? I think last time I tried, it was 2 minutes. 3 minutes is a lot. But then again, I was like super young then. I don't like water anyway, so I'm like, That's a remarkable long time to go without any air. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker, still. Unpleasant and obscure, and not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated, slowly, is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Is there no escape for you? Okay, I thought I was gonna cough, but it didn't happen. Prognosis, I am sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. Oh, this narration. You reap what you sow. And, in your case, you made a series of bad decisions, which led to your untimely demise. Look, I thought going to the ocean would be a good idea. It was a terrible idea. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace? Or will you try to fight against it? Oh, I got a choice. I'm assuming if I just accept it, I'll just die. gonna fight. Far right. To party. I like that look on your face. It is a look full of determination. The self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. I can tell that you are not happy with this ending. You did not come all of this way, after all, to drown. That is quite the Yandere's demise, regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. Yeah, If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be happy only. Then I would be only too happy to indulge you. Just try not to get on the bad side, or good side of any homicidal naiads this time. The drowning of fair maidens is something of a cliche. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Oh, so it goes back. So it's like, it kind of reminds me of, Even If Tempest. It is an ultimate game, but like once you go through different routes, it like throws you into the next one. I'm like, oh. Because normally you just pick a route and go, right? But they're all intertwined together, so interesting. I could try a different route, but I want to see what happens when you pick the other option. So we're gonna load. Let's make sure you want to load this safe. Yes. Accept your fate. What happens if you accept it? That's a bit of an anticlimactic answer at this juncture in your life story, but I suppose it would be remiss of me to lecture you too much. I am sure you are well aware of what a terrible series of decisions you have made. There is no need for me to belabor the point. That would be boorish, not to mention tedious. I am rather tired of scolding you. So instead, I think I will content myself with loving you. What? You thought in your death, the mermaid was the only one who would be able to cosset you? I know I've said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me, even if you're at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. Whew. With the fishies. Oh no. Oh, with the fishies. I got a achievement. You'll never be lonely again. So yeah, that's considered a bad end per se for that part. So if you give up, then you're just kind of, thrown in there. And it's just the end. But if you fight, you get thrown back to the choices again. So going to the shore was the wrong choice. We did. Let's see, let's try and pick one of these instead. So we know the girl who disappeared that the mermaid was obsessed with is from the village, but I want to know what the castle is. I feel like we were running from the castle to begin with, that's why I didn't pick it, but now I'm just like, I kind of understand where the village one will be going regardless, but the castle one, I have no idea. So we'll start some of this and then I'll play the rest of it on my own. Because I think next week we'll play a different spoopy game because we'll have let me see, calendar. We'll have 2 more weeks. Yeah, the spoopy game. So next Tuesday and then Tuesday after that. Okay. So you want to go to the castle? Good idea. All decent fairy tales tend to conclude in the castles once they're. What? What is that? Liquid? Liquid? That's what I think of when I see it. Time to Google how to pronounce it, because I don't freaking know. What is this? Bulligard. That's Bulligard. So that was correct. Ah. But upon heroines are finally able to wed the handsome princes they once dreamed of, I'm assuming it's a princess. That's a yandere. Why bother trying your luck at the shore, which may very well be deserted, or the village, which will be full of dirty, barefoot peasants? Oh, right, we're supposed to be, like, I don't know if we were supposed to be, like, nobility, but I know we're supposed to be higher than peasants, question mark? It is far better to skip the suffering and go straight to the grand finale. That's very astute of you. I did not realize you had it in you to be so merciful. What? What do you mean? I don't know. What's this? You can only wonder what you will uncover during your moonlit wanderings. The night is far from over, and your adventures are only just beginning. I hope only that you have brushed up on your courtesies. They might come in handy when one is interacting with a sovereign. Royals can be temperamental, after all. If you fail to treat them with a prerequisite amount of respect, you might come to regret it. Well, thanks for that. You follow the path which leads to the castle, supporting yourself on weary, aching legs, which feel ready at a moment's notice to detach from your hips. It's not. You're a little more than a wisp of a girl. We have been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing, clumsy and ungainly. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a spare room available for you in the castle. What? What makes you think you can just stay in the castle? You do not know what, exactly, will await you at the castle, but you have visions, as you run, of a vast, opulent dwelling. This dwelling will surely be full of finely furnished rooms, in which you might rest your weary head. There must also be a king and a queen inside the castle. You ponder, who will be kind and wise? And what of their children? What of a princess? Every good castle must possess a princess who will take pity on you in your plight. I doubt it. Considering where this story is going and has been going, no. You can imagine the face of this generous princess with ease, thanks to the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. The princess will be fair of hair and blue of eye, with soft pink lips pursed like rosebuds. Her limbs will be slender, and her hands dainty and unsullied from physical labor, and her sensibility will be sweeter than marzipan. Well, you see, I would prefer a princess who can wield a sword. She will be kind to you and compassionate, just like an older sister. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I don't think I've ever met an older sister that was kind and compassionate. I don't even have an older sister. But, like, my friends' older sisters were super mean. I was like, You do not know what older sisters are like, though. Or younger sisters, for that matter. You're only guessing. Yeah, I'm about to say, like, I'm like... I've never met, like, anyone who had an older sister that was nice to them. I know they exist, but... the ones I met were super, super mean. I was like, damn, okay. You are not a complete fool, however. Despite your tenacity to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Monarchs do not. As you know from precarious reading, have the best track record when it comes to caring for the peasantry. Well, so we are supposed to be a peasant. Question mark? I'm so lost. Because in the last one, we weren't. I'm so confused. Was there not a very famous queen who once said, with a caviar wave of her hand, that the hungry peasants in her kingdom should content themselves with cake if bread was not an option? What? How are you gonna get cake if you don't have what? I'm so confused. How are you gonna get cake if you don't have bread? You can't make bread. How are you gonna make cake? Hello? I think that this might be a misquote, but the point still stands. The royals are supposed to grant their subjects support in their time of need. This does not always happen. In fact, it very rarely happens. Kings and queens and princesses and princes are just people at the end of the day, and they are subject to the same caprices that all humans are. They can also be careless and selfish and inconsiderate. There is no guarantee that this mythical princess of your imagination will help you. Why, there is no guarantee that this mythical princess exists at all. Still, you must try. It is this hope which keeps you going. You continue to run to the castle, and it takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally, you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold, though, and foggy, and very, very dark. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the castle, which looms in front of you like a cliffside. Imagine a cliff. The stone edifice of the building is imposing, and it drowns you in shadows darker than the depths of the deepest ocean. The castle is not all dark, though, not like the night sky above it. When you crane your head, you can see that there are lights flickering within, in the narrow, slitted windows. It would appear that somebody is home. The king and the queen, perhaps. And one of their servants. What, perhaps more pressingly, of their guards? Are there no guards at the kingdom? Hello? Where are they? Supposed to be guarding the castle. You half expect, as you stand there, that armored knights will accost you for daring to approach the castle of King and Queen so-and-so. You do not know your place, foolish peasant girl with a dirty skirt. Okay, so we are supposed to be a peasant. I'm so lost. That's why I was just like, what? Be gone with you. You're not, of course, a peasant. Okay, there we go. Okay. I was about to say, I was like, I swear, you're saying that we're from a wealthy family, I swear. Your family is a wealthy one, or rather they were, before your father made a series of poor financial decisions. Ah, rip. You do not look like a young lady right now, though. with your dirty face and your dirty skirt, which is torn at the hem. If any guards were to take you for a vagrant, it would not be surprising. But though you stand there, dithering, your filthy fingers hooked in front of your filthy skirt, you do not hear any cries. Nobody sounds the alarm. Lights might be on inside the castle, but there is nobody outside of its perimeter standing at sentry. There is nobody to impede your entry, and the elaborate iron gates, which are set into the vast stone walls about the castle's exterior, are open, just a crack. It would be a trivial matter to slip inside. There's nobody to stop you. Why are you trembling now, you silly thing? You have come so very far. It would be an act of foolishness to turn around now. Go on. Go. You inhale, perhaps in an attempt to screw up your courage, which has at long last begun to fail you. And then you step forwards. You slide between the wrought iron gates, as stealthily and as secretive as a thief, then cross the path which leads up to the tall, imposing structure. The dim doorway which leads into the castle itself, hewn from stone, is closed, but at a push of your palm, it swings inward. The door creaks alarmingly as it opens, a sound loud enough to split the silence like a thunderclap. You inhale at this and glance around, your eyes darting hither and thither. If there are any guards posted about the castle's grounds, they should have been alerted by that sound. Will they come for you at long last? And I skipped that real fast. Sheesh. Where is my mouse? There it is. What will happen should they catch you? Will they throw you in the dungeons? That does not sound like a pleasant way to spend the night. At least you would have a roof over your head, though, and you would not have to keep walking. Your feet really do ache. You stand there for an indeterminable amount of time, your heart pounding a panic, irregular rhythm in the base of your throat. But no matter how much time elapses, no guards come. You are thankful for your good luck, though it does make you wonder, where is everybody? Why? It is almost as if all the people in the world have disappeared. Could you be the very last human left alive? You frown, then press your palm back against the door. Well, that made me shiver just now. Ugh. Creepy door opening. You push less cautiously this time, heedless of the loud sound which splits the silence. There is no point in worrying about the guards, not when they might very well be non-existent. Your entry into the castle secured. You then take a step forwards. The door swings shut behind you, and the resultant slam makes you jump. You did not expect it. Your heart knocks against your ribs, and, with wild eyes, you glance about. You are standing in a vast entrance hall, made of stone which splits off into any number of passages. Oh, that's confusing. At the very end of the hall, meanwhile, there is a large, elaborate staircase, one which seems to extend to the heavens themselves. It is dark inside the hall, but there are numerous torches set in sconces in the stone wall, which are aflame. They offer some relief from the shadows. You can hear the faint sound of the wind outdoors as it moans against the castle's impervious walls, but you cannot hear any footsteps. You cannot hear any voices. You cannot, more importantly, hear any people. Maybe the castle is empty. If that is the case, though, then who lit these torches? Woo! It was a ghost. It was me. It is a curious conundrum. You muster up what remains of your courage, then cry out, addressing the empty hall in Timur's voice, which fails to properly fill up the space. Hello, you say, your eyes wide. Is anybody there? Your voice echoes through the vast, empty hall, but it is met, yet again, with silence. You cannot say you are too surprised, but it is somewhat disappointing. Not one to be deterred, you try again and again, your voice growing louder with each subsequent attempt. No matter how loud your voice, however, it fails to reach any ears. If anybody is here, they do not seem to be particularly sociable. That, or perhaps they simply cannot hear you. Could they be in another room? Yes, that must be it. You will never find the pretty fairy tale princess of your imagination if you stand idle, you know. It is time to get to work. Put those legs of yours to good use. Not knowing what else to do, is there anything else you can do? You begin to explore. You examine the rooms, first on the ground floor of the castle, which are of a similar scale to the impressive entrance hall, large and richly furnished, but utterly unoccupied. After some time of aimless meandering, encountering nobody save the ghosts of aeons past, memorialized on portraits upon the walls, you muster the courage to ascend to the second floor. This floor, too, you examine, wandering through a seemingly endless series of hallways until, at long last, you find a door which is ajar. From between the crack in the door and the jamb, you can see a flickering light. Irregular, yes, but it is light nonetheless. Could it be from a fireplace? That would suggest, then, that this room is occupied, unlike all the others. Perhaps the kindly princess you dreamed of will be awaiting you in this room. It is with a trembling hand that you press your palm against the door. Creepy door opening. You push it. Then you step inside the bedchamber, which unveils itself to you. Shyly, you stand at the threshold of the chamber, much of your courage extinguished, and gasp. The bedroom itself is gorgeous. It is a chamber of luxuriant, not even the shadows can obscure the fine craft of the furniture within it, nor the rich patterns on the walls. And there's a girl inhabiting the chamber, however, who truly takes your breath away. Ah, it is a princess. Sitting upon the velveteen sheets of a towering four-poster, this girl in a sumptuous red gown, who seems to be of a like age to you. You do not have a clear view of the girl's face. Her head is bowed, her gaze directed downwards at her lap. You can tell from her hair, however, and from her slender calves, was prowed from beneath the hem of her skirt, or of her dress, that she is very pretty. The girl's hair is golden, just like freshly cut wheat, but it is the red of her dress which truly captures your attention. What about the British eyes? She is so striking, you cannot look away from her. The girl's not alone in her chamber either. Well, that's creepy. Goodbye, creepy, 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 creepy doll. No, 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 no. One of the things that creep me out the most dolls when it comes to like horror things. I'm like, because I used to have a porcelain doll when I was little. I remember my mom telling me that it's thing for porcelain dolls to carry the souls of the dead or just dolls in general. And I was like, huh, and I threw that thing away so fast. I was like, no. It's my boo. Hi, Zurich. Hi. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing on this Tuesday? Or it might be Wednesday considering time differences. I'm trying to think of like a, yeah, something like that. Something or another. Creepy doll, help. The girl's not alone in her chamber either. She has a companion, though this companion is not half so endearing as her. In her lap, perched upon her velvet skirt, is a doll. The doll's hair, like that of her mistress's, is golden, though much of it is hidden beneath the bonnet. The girl is adjusting the china teacup held in the doll's tiny hand, while the rim of the cup glints in the light, which exudes from the fireplace. So, is she the only one in this castle? If the girl is of a similar age to you, it seems strange that she would content herself by playing with dolls. How old are we supposed to be? Is she not too old for it? No, you can have, okay, look here. You're never too old for any hobbies that you have, okay? Okay. I'm okay, just had a late breakfast. Ooh, late breakfast, let's go. Hopefully it was yummy though. And just trying to get motivated to do something. That's okay. But hey, you got up, you ate breakfast. You accomplished something. But I felt like that yesterday. I like didn't want to do anything. I was like, I don't want to do it. But I was just thinking, if I get it done today, I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So that's what I did. That's usually my motivation for like everything I do. I'm like, if I do it today, I don't have to do it tomorrow. I can rest more the next day. And this girl would be more at home, you decide, at a ball wearing an extravagant gown, speaking with wealthy noblemen, perhaps even princes. She'd not be sitting in what you presume in her bedchamber, adjusting a teacup in a doll's hand. You're not afforded much more time to stand there, marveling at the girl because she turns. Okay, this fire is super loud. It's like brrr in my ears. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can. In my sound settings, I can turn it down. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, now it's just all like crackling and crackling. I'm like, okay. Then her eyes meet yours. You know the girl pretty when blah, 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 blah. You thought the girl pretty when you first observed her, sitting on the edge of her plush Levantine bed, examining her doll. Now she is looking at you, however, her face illuminated by the flames in the grate. You can see that you were mistaken. I was about to say, oh, the fire be crackling. Yeah, it's so like, so for this game, they didn't separate the like music itself versus like sound effects. So it's all in one. So the sound effects are super loud. I was like, how do I turn it down? So if there's something like fire or the ocean water or walking, and even like I think like when we were in the forest, it was like the leaves and stuff. It was super loud. I was like, oh my gosh. Hopefully the music's still loud enough that you can hear it. The crackling of fire, it's like I'm like, ah. She is not just pretty. She is beautiful. So much so, it is breathtaking. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision? A waking dream? A hallucination? But no, she is none of those things. The doll on her lap is cold. Oh, is a cold, hard thing made of porcelain, and it is unflinchingly, reassuringly real. I hope you mean that it's just a doll, real doll. Audio skills, hello. Because they definitely had an experience in mind for you playing the game. Yeah, they really wanted those like sound effect stuff to be like in your head while you're playing the game. Because like the background music itself is decently quiet. It's not too loud. But like the sound effects, man, they be going. Even though I have the fire like turned, like not even the fire, that's the sound of the game itself. Like on my computer down, it's still really loud. I'm like, ah. Thankfully, it's much quieter than before, though. So, like, it was so loud I couldn't even hear myself think. I was like, help. If she were a mirage, surely she would not be able to handle physical objects such as this. It is strange, though. The doll, though immaculately made, looks oddly imperfect when compared to the girl who is holding it. She is so startlingly beautiful. She even puts man-made representations of feminine charms to shame. The sight of her makes you feel rather weak. Ooh woo. You always have had a fondness for fair maidens, haven't you? You're rather hopeless when it comes to them. Even worse than a knight aired from a courtly legend. Your aesthetic appreciation is not particularly ladylike, but, well, it is not every day a girl encounters an elegant beauty like this, attired in red, illuminated by the firelight. I suppose I can forgive you for this rudeness. As to, can the girl? She does not seem to be the type to hold a grudge. Oh, the girl says, in a voice that, surprisingly enough, far less refined than her appearance. It's good to see you. I've been waiting. She's been waiting. Oh no. Has she? That is news to you. You blink, perplexed, a response on the tip of your tongue, but you're unable to expel it into the ether. The girl is setting her doll aside. Then she stands, the hem of her dress swishing about her legs. Nimbly like a ballerina, she canvasses the space between you. Her room is so very large. There is quite a lot of space. Then takes your hands in her own. You must, the girl says, her eyes aglow with excitement, be my new lady's maid. It's been a while, but it's such a relief that you finally arrived. I knew that you would. Well, you see, that definitely isn't me, but sure, let's go with that. You never leave me alone. Not when you knew how long I was waiting. Oh, I'm so happy. The girl's good mood is contagious. So much so, you find yourself being swept away in it. You're tempted to accept any identity she might press upon you. You've never been a maid before, but you might not mind being this girl's maid. But we know nothing about her. She does not seem like a poor mistress to serve. No, she is always as kind. You cannot mask the confusion, however, which flickers across your face. You're not a good enough actress, and, in any case, this is all happening too quickly. Why, you barely know this girl. Why is she being so familiar? It is with blank, woman eyes that you examine the girl. Your befuddlement is pronounced enough that even the girl, despite her good mood, notices it. She frowns. Then she says, her fingers sliding away from your own. Or am I mistaken? Are you not my new lady's maid after all? The disappointment in the girl's face is abundant, so much so your heart clenches. You do not know her, she is still a stranger, but you are struck, all of a sudden, with the intense desire to appease her. You do not want to let her down. The thought is devastating. You are not aware, you tell her, that you had a plan to be her maid, but if that is what she wills, you would not be opposed to it. You pray that she forgives you, though, for it is confabulation. You come from a distant country, and you have traveled for many miles. Oh, we didn't get this kind of information in the other route. So, she's from a different country, okay. But why was she traveling on foot as if she's running from something? But what was she running from? You know not where you are, and you don't know who she is. What? You don't know who I am? It is regrettable, you tell her, but no, you do not know her. No, that is no fault of her own. Why, you have spent such a long time running, you hardly even know yourself. Ah, so you're a fugitive then, from another country. I see. I won't pry into your past then, if you'd rather forget about it. I don't mind sharing my past with you, though. Everybody in this country knows who I am, after all, or at least they should. Now, this is quite the impressive boast. If it were to come from the lips of another, you'd find it unpleasantly arrogant. You do not think, however, that this girl is trying to show off. You get the feeling instead that she is merely telling the truth. If you don't have the pleasure of knowing me, then allow me to do the honors. My father and my mother were the king and queen of this realm, and I am its princess. I've lived in this castle all my life, so I don't know much about the outside world, but I know that other countries do exist out there. I presume it is from one of these foreign countries that you come from. It is very good to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to somebody from overseas. It feels like quite the opportunity. The girl giggles at this, and you smile in response. You tell her, unthinkingly, that it is your pleasure, really, to meet her, or at least you meant to. You only get halfway through this remark when the full gravity of what the girl has told you sinks in. You come to a stop. Then you stare. Did you say she was a princess? Well, I felt like that would be an assumption before she even said anything, but so she said her father and mother were in past tense. Then that means they're dead now? Question mark? Yes, that's right. I am a princess, and one day I will be a queen after I've done a little bit of growing up. My ministers don't think I'm ready to run the country just yet, but I've been doing my best at my lessons. One day, I'm sure I'll be the best queen there ever was. Dun, dun, dun. So she really is a princess. That makes sense, you suppose, given she lives in a castle, but it comes as a surprise regardless. You hadn't known before you entered this chamber that you're trespassing on a lady of such great renown. Why, if she willed it, she could have executed you for carelessness. Why, yes, she could have. An ugly red flush creeps up your face, a flush which is far more lurid than the princess's dress, as you look to your feet. Bashfully, you stammer on a new address. You are very sorry for intruding upon her, and you hope that she can forgive you. Oh, it's alright. Think nothing of it. I don't mind, really. We all make mistakes. And anyway, you weren't to know. You said you weren't from around here? You nod your head in silent affirmation. It isn't a complete lie. You really are not from this country. You're not from this world at all. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Haha, it's a guide. How wonderful. I'll look forward to picking your brain later. Please don't pick my brain. All of my servants come from nearby village. From the nearby village. Their tales are all the same, and so are their superstitions. I could do with a breath of fresh air. My last lady's maid told me I was too impetuous, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of adventure. Not that I've ever been afforded much of that. I've been shut up in here for so long. Oh, for so long. I hardly ever get the chance to talk to other girls my age. My last lady's maid was older than me, so was the one before her and the one before her. Aw. Picking my brain sounds ominous, but she cute, so go ahead. Oh man. Oh, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but we basically finished the mermaid route ? And basically she drags you underwater and she was planning to drown you all this time. I was like, okay. So she can keep you forever. I was like, ah. I had a feeling. I'm like, we can't breathe. And I'm pretty sure she knows this. But if you pick that you don't want to, if you want to fight against fate, it throws you back into those choices, the other two choices of either going to the village or the castle. And I was like, huh, okay. So I picked the castle this time. Now you missed it. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I was like, And she was like, I heard it's not a pleasant experience to drown, but it's okay. It's better than dying to diseases and stuff. I'm like, is it? That mermaid sounds like that sounds like actual mermaid lore. Yeah, it does. I've heard of a lot of mermaid lore like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So I wonder how this princess one will go. Cause I'm assuming each one has a yandere in it. So I was like, huh. I'm assuming this one will probably just lock us in the dungeon or something forever. But I wasn't planning to get through all of it today anyway. Cause I was gonna play it on my own some other time. Cause there's other games I want to play before Spoopy month is over. I just don't know which one yet. Cause there's so many. And there's so many like Steam Next Fest demos that I want to play too. So we'll see what we get. I might just make a poll and be like, do you guys want to continue this game or do you want to go to a next one? The game name? The game name is in the title. It gets so lonely here. But yeah, I will make a poll in the YouTube community post and as well as Twitter, and then we'll combine them again. And we'll see. Because there's a couple games. Let's see. Not exactly spoopy per se, but kind of fit the month, so. But I can also see if any of the games that I wanted are on my wish list. Not those two. Cause there's Where is it? There's little green two shoes and pocket mirror and Yamawari. IB. Yeah, there's a lot of games. I was like going through this one, there's this one, there's this one. But yeah, I will make a poll for those things and we'll see what we play next week. But thank you all for joining and I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your day and week. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.